Hi everyone. Chris is on here. He's gonna do the packaging training, so feel free to watch this whenever, or share out, whatever. Hold on. I'm tagging some of you guys, and then if you want to tag your teams for people who are new to learn about packaging, Chris is just gonna go over some stuff, and yeah. So here he is. He's really excited.
Thrilled. So I'll make my wife give y'all like different size packages because I don't know. I have boxes. Will you get me some boxes?
You have to talk to them, Chris.
I will.
Where's the remote to turn the air on?
Not very good at reading comments. Hey Emily, so I have her get these boxes too that come in handy. I'll have her give y'all all the details on this, but we have some boxes, so that works for like some fragile stuff. Obviously I use like my discretion of what I feel is something that can break. So obviously stuff like these little dangle beads, or the rainbow earrings that she calls them. Normally I'll cut up bubble wrap on these.
Show them clearly.
I'm out of organza bags, so normally I'd put everything in those little bags and then wrap it, but so literally something like this that's more fragile, I'll throw some bubble wrap, and it is smaller, so that does make it easier.
Do you put jewelry in plastic bags if it's outside of a plastic bag?
Yes, I was gonna show that. Okay. So then also get some tape. I get it from the dollar store. Makes it super easy when I'm trying to at least hold stuff together. So this one fits in my smallest size on here. So I'm able to keep it protected. I've seen some of the guys at the post office, and they'll like literally chunk packages across the way, so I try to make sure that they're somewhat protected. I'll show y'all how to make the little boxes that I do. Alright, so that's one. Now if it's loose, like something that's just loose in there, I will put it in a package, so that way I feel like if everything's like secured and can't really move, then it's a lot harder for them to break it. So I do keep all the plastic. I have a nice unorganized box. Sometimes I'll go through and organize the box of plastic, but not always. Yeah, I know, that mugshot was awesome. I didn't think it would be such a hit. So again, if it's not in something, and I'll show you an example of a necklace in a second, I always put them in something. Again, I'm out of the little organza bags. I do have one of them, so I'll show you. Normally I'll put them in a bag like this. Again, this one's smaller, so I can just use some bubble wrap. Wrap it nice and tight. Put a little piece of tape on it. Boom. This one will fit in a smaller one, and I'll show you why I use the one that's a little bit bigger in a second. So this one is a little bit bigger. It fits the little box that I make. But yeah, I recommend everything go in plastic and be separate, so that way it doesn't get scratched or snagged on something else and torn. It makes it easier too when the customer gets it. It's not all tangled up, especially necklaces. I guess the earrings wouldn't be so bad, but they can still snag on another one and break.
So that mailer, the little mailer, is 4x8. You can get those on Amazon, and then
4x8.
This one is 6x10, and you can get those on Amazon too. And then these boxes are 4x6x6, and they are a corrugated tuck box. You can get these on Amazon. I'll post them in the comments. They aren't really cost efficient, but if you have bracelets, this is a good way to ship so they don't get crushed. Chris likes them.
I like them. And you can actually, so like almost 2 organza bags of jewelry will fit in this box, which is kind of surprising, and it surprised me because normally the 2 organza bags, when I make my little protective boxes, I got to use, what size is the big pink one?
8 by 12.
8 by 12. So normally I use this, and I can sometimes fit what's in this big one in a little box. So it surprised me. But the reason I keep plastic, and I'd recommend keeping plastic, sometimes I'm OCD and organize it, sometimes I just leave it in a big box. But for stuff like loose necklaces, so that way they don't get all tangled up with the other stuff, I always put them back in something so that way they can stay together, fold it over, and then obviously this one's already in a bag, so that makes that nice and neat.
And that way you don't like ship someone a broken necklace.
That way it's harder to get tangled up and broken. And then everything goes in a bag for me because it makes it easier to compile it and keep it nice. So I know sometimes the little shorter necklaces, or even the larger ones, they come in a bag within a bag. So it can be a little bit much of plastic, but I go through a lot of the plastic when I repackage stuff. So, show you an example. So normally, again, I would put this in one of those pretty little organza bags, but we are still waiting on them to get shipped. So, I had to improvise on this one. But so I can keep everything nice and neat and it doesn't shift around, can't get tangled. So everything was packaged together. Put it in a little bag. And this one I'll show you. That way it's all wrapped up. It's all held together. You could shake it and spin it around. Nothing's gonna get tangled or damaged, hopefully. So this is where I come in. I do keep these extra boxes. I break them down so they don't take up a bunch of space. That one's not broke down. This one, I'll show you. I already broke this one down for my little storage. So all I do is I literally cut a piece off of it. And then depending, I usually will cut like an inch going where the fold is on it. You can kind of do it however works for you. I'll show you why I do that. So take about an inch off and then I just cut them in half. Alright, the reason that as I get this little neat piece, and this, I don't know if y'all can see this on the table, I can't really because of comments. You may take a ruler or whatever, but I just use my hands and bend it over because I don't have long nails. If you have long nails, I'm sure you could put a ruler there to just bend it over. But what that does, it gives me this little piece that I end up getting. And what I found is I can put a lot more pressure down on it without smashing stuff, which comes in handy because if somebody drops it, I mean, we get boxes that have the ends beat up and smashed, so I'm sure it took an impact. So if you make these little boxes, just fold the jewelry and then I just put a piece of tape on it to hold it over. That way, that's a little bit stuck out, but when you make these boxes, they're a lot harder to smash. And then when you have something in there, it especially gives it more rigidity. So no crushing that. And that's where I get the little bit, I call them the medium ones. So I got the small, medium, and then the larger ones for 2 of these. So I just literally take that, pop it in there. And then now I got the extra bubble cushioning, plus it's in I could probably put 10 pounds on this box without it breaking any of the jewelry. So my wife did say it was a little bit more minimal on shipping, but to make sure that it's not broken and your customer's happy, especially if you're sold out of that piece. Sorry, I'm not reading comments. But if you're sold out of that piece and that was the last one, and then you can't get them another one, you leave people disappointed. So, you know, make sure that they get it and it's appealing. I mean, normally it doesn't look like $5 jewelry when it's shipped. What people say look professional. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't broken, but that makes it where it's pretty solid. Can't break it. I haven't tried damage test, but yeah. So that is those. Yes, rigidity. I think that's a good word. So stuff like these big hoops, because you know, I mean, obviously you can bend the little post part. So whenever you make those boxes, if you can fit it in that box, I'll do another one. If you can fit it in that box so those can't get crushed, then they're not bent. I know they can bend them back, but some people might not like it. Let me see if I can do one more like that. And to me, it's just all in the presentation, because yeah, it's $5 jewelry, but you know, it can come shipped looking a little bit better than $5 jewelry, and it does look nice. My wife looks beautiful in it, so she likes it, makes her happy. So something like those big hoop earrings that are black with the big post on it, so that way those don't get damaged. Do another box. And normally I have a little trash bin next to me, so it's really easy cleanup. Again, I just cut about an inch off of here. You can always adjust it more, cut more or less, however you need to. Yeah, I mean, they give you everything, so you don't have to go out and buy a bunch. I mean, these boxes, again, sometimes they do come in handy, especially for big bracelets and stuff. But again, just from about an inch off of where this piece is already like pre-bent, I just go ahead and make another bend. And you can adjust it more or less depending on, obviously, how thick these packages or the organza bags are that you have of jewelry. You can, you know, bend it more or less. But again, that holds those black hoop earrings in there. I just put a little piece of tape just that way it doesn't open up in there, and it keeps it where you can't really mash down. I mean, obviously if a big box was to land on top of this, it's going to be a lot more secure than if you just have jewelry sitting in there. And I found out that these boxes fit pretty much perfectly in these medium bags. I'll have her put the sizes again so that way y'all can see that. And it doesn't take long. It's taking a little bit longer because I'm explaining this, but really, like, time-wise, it doesn't take me that much longer per package. And I mean, to have a secure package, you could literally put a lot of weight on that's not going to get smashed in delivery.
And it's still within the size requirements, and you maybe add maybe an ounce, so you're not paying like a ton more just to do that, to save you money on broken jewelry.
Yeah, you're not having to refund, so you get to keep the money from the sales. So, I mean, this little piece of cardboard that I've cut to make that protective sleeve, it's worth it, in my opinion. So, let me see. So, obviously, when you get like the hard bracelets and stuff like that, this one's got two of them. So when you get stuff like that, I'll tend to use these boxes because I can just throw a piece in here. Normally I'll stack everything in organza bags though, so it's literally dependent on how many organza bags. I would consider this an organza bag. How many of these I have would depend on if it's in a single package, or if there's 2 organza bags, I'll cut these a little bit shorter and fit them in this way. So I'll have 2 boxes side by side stuck in this way.
And that's the 8x12 mailer.
And that's the 8x12. But if it's 2 organza bags, I have to put it in the bigger one, because that's the only one that it fits in. But if it's just 1 organza bag, usually you can get away with this. 2 organza bags will fit in these boxes though. It was shocking to see that 2 of them you can usually place in there. But when it comes to these bracelets, I always do them in these. If I can make sure I get that on camera, but I'll normally just wrap some bubble around that, put that in there, and then these I do tape a little bit different. My wife likes me to put tape over the label, so sorry, that's kind of loud. So I tape 2 around the outside where it folds over. I do use bigger packing tape for that, and then these labels literally fit perfect on the box. All right. And if you can't shake it and it's not like bouncing around in there, there's less likelihood that it'll get broke. So I try to make sure everything's secure where you can shake it and it doesn't like slide around, especially if you put like necklaces and stuff like that in their own bag. So every necklace I'll put back in one of those little protective sleeves, or even just a normal bag so it's not getting tangled with the other ones. And that way when you put it in the organza bag, everything stays separate and it's not all jumbled together. And then obviously once you put it in that little box, it'll be tight. So there's no moving around the stuff. It won't slide out and get caught in a corner and damaged on there. So yeah, I just keep everything individually packaged so it's secure. And then I try to protect it the best I can. And these little cardboard pieces, you know, we've got a lot less complaints about broken jewelry. So if y'all have any questions, oh, she's already posting it.
Those are the boxes.
Okay. Well, make sure you put all of them. So like the small, medium, and large sizes.
No, the mailers they can just search on Amazon.
I know, but they got to know what size, because especially the pink ones, they have to be a certain size to fit the box that I make. So I'll have her, and you know, I make her order a little bit more, because when I have shipping delays and stuff like that from Amazon or wherever, then at least I have some from the week before, so I can at least still package and ship stuff. There's nothing like, you know, Sunday and I'm like, oh my gosh, the other ones aren't here, but we still have other ones. So I stock up a little bit up front, saves you in the long run when you're trying to ship out. I think that's everything. I mean, I don't know.
Let's just ask them if they have questions.
Yeah, does anybody have questions? And normally I like a clean workspace. I kind of have it all jumbled so I can just try to show some live. So normally this bubble stuff, I mean, it is awesome. It's free. It comes in your packaging. My wife makes fun of me because when my buddy gets car parts, I'll be like, hey man, can I have your bubble wrap? And It's a weird question, I guess, but to me, you know, if we don't have to go out and spend a bunch of money on bubble packaging, you know, save it where we can. But obviously 2 pieces, they're smaller. I can fit these in a littler mailer. So you just kind of use discretion. Obviously, y'all would know better than me of what is like dainty or, you know, a more brittle piece. So on stuff like that, I try to put it in a box or, well, that one's going there. So I try to put the more fragile looking pieces. I know stuff, let me grab this one for an example. So I'm just going to use this one for example, but necklaces like this that you think, and there's some other ones that we've had that are like, you know, framed or whatever. You can literally just fold this over like, you know, a very short distance from it. Instead of doing like an inch bend, you can make it, you know, even thinner. So that way you're literally just protecting that from getting like bent and twisted, which would cause it to obviously be broken or bent when they get it, and it wouldn't look as nice as it does before you ship it out. Yes, the jewelry room is messy right now. She's gonna have to get over that. Yeah, but attention in the detail, I just, I'm very picky, so, you know, I can imagine women are also picky, so whenever they get stuff, if they have, you know, a bunch of tangled necklaces, I hate it when Kyndal gives me like a basket and she's like, here you go, I need you to package this, and I have like 6 necklaces that I have to untangle. I'm like, what is this, you know, and it drives me crazy. So I try to make sure that when I get a loose necklace, I just put it in a little bag so that way when I fold it and package it and they get it, it's not all tangled up and they don't have to deal with that nightmare, because my wife will hand me this big, you know, tangled mess and I'm like, what is this? Like, you know, who does this? I don't even know how it goes from like literally into the basket to out here, and it's like, I can't explain it. But I don't know if y'all have any questions. Women are picky. And thanks, Ashley. So Emily, I thought about doing this because I don't know, I was just sitting up here and I was like, how can I make this not be smushed? Because, like, you know, obviously necklaces with, like, you know, bigger beads on it and stuff that looks like it can get damaged, I was like, how can I make this a little bit more secure? Because I was just putting it in an organza bag and wrapping some bubble wrap around it, but you know, I saw the postman like literally take a box and chunk it across the room, and I was like, man, if that landed on one of these packages, it's gonna be damaged. And so I was like, what?
Lisa asked a question.
I know, I'm trying to explain the first question. But yeah, I came up with this box idea because I know that, like, obviously if it has 90-degree bends, it would be harder to smush on there. I don't see it. Oh, when you start moving the boxes. So the boxes normally, if it's like 3 organza bags, I'll use the smaller box. I don't know if I have one. I don't think we have a smaller box. So they sell different boxes. Let me grab one real quick. So I do not have, they obviously have different size boxes. Let me see if I can get this in there. So there's one smaller than this one that they'll do, because this one obviously fits in this one. But I try to use the smallest box size. I guess, I don't know what size this one is. I guess it'd be like maybe a 9x9 box. So those fit like 4 up to 4 maybe organza bags in them. So I just go usually off of how many organza bags I have filled. So 1 organza bag will fit in this. If it's just a couple pieces, obviously I'll use a smaller one if I can. But 1 organza bag fits awesome in these little boxes and in this size. If it's 2 organza bags, I'll put it in this size. I'll have to get with my wife again, and that way I can post this size, 1 organza bag, this size, 2 organza bags. But this size mailer will fit 2 of my little cardboard boxes. So 1 would be here, 1 would be here. So this size will fit up to 2 organza bags. These boxes sometimes will fit about 2 organza bags worth. But if it's 3 or more, I'll start putting them in boxes. And when I do the boxes, obviously, I do them just that way. I have it stuffed where stuff can't shift around as much. So I'll try to put everything in the bags and make sure that they're like in there tight enough to where they can't be, you know, shook loose or whatever. So that way, they're not all busting out of the bags and going crazy. So I hope that answers your question, Lisa. So Lisa, if you do the organza bags, it's a no-brainer to me. I don't have to worry about what fits in what size mailer. Obviously, 1 organza bag, and then 2 organza bags would fit in these, you know, obviously in these little box sleeves that I make. And yeah, I mean, it depends on the pieces. Somewhat, because you'll notice, I mean, even like the bigger, what does she call these, statement piece necklaces. I can go ahead and I'll do one more. I'll package this one so that way I can show you, because this is a thicker necklace, obviously, with the big beads on there. And then we have some smaller ones. So I'll show you kind of what I mean on there. And this is why I keep all the plastic. Again, it's up to you. It just makes it a lot easier to have something to put it in. So my wife and her hair. All right. So obviously, this is a little bit thicker, but that's okay because we still got room. I still have some more that I got to put in here. But anything that's loose, I go ahead and just make sure that it's got its own home. Like, that way there's no pieces getting scratched or something getting caught on something else. And this will be a good example because this is a bracelet that's got a really hard stone on there. So stuff like the bracelets, they can get bent. So, and then I'll see if, let me try this. So, because it's got that big bracelet, usually these I'll put in a box. So, this is a little bit thicker package. So yeah, obviously those will fit in this box. So I could, if it wasn't that bracelet, I would have done probably 2 of those little square supports that I do and put them in this one. But because it's a bracelet, then I tend to go with these boxes just because it makes it a little bit easier and less chance of the handle or the bracelet part getting like bent or warped in shipping. And so yeah, I mean they're a little bit more expensive to ship these, but I mean,
It doesn't cost more to ship them. The box costs a little more.
oh, so the box costs a little bit more, but it doesn't cost more to ship. But yeah, if it's a bracelet, these tend to work good. If it's just necklaces and earrings, I'll tend to do the little cards that I make, the box sleeves, and I'll just put 2 of them in these. So it's kind of just, I've learned over, you know, several months of what fits in what, but it's just a little bit of trial and error. You'll see what works best for you. You know, it may be easier to put them in this. It may be easier to put it in this and save a little bit of time. It may be a little bit more, you know, per package on the box, but it's kind of what works for you. But putting it in an individual sleeve, making sure it's separated before you put it in an organza bag or all the bags together in a bag, just keeps it neater whenever the customer gets it, and then it doesn't look like $5 jewelry. You know, you give it a little bit pizzazz because the packaging, it looks a little bit nicer, and so, you know, for $5, make it look like a Christmas gift to them. No worries, Patty. Trust me, we've been growing on shipping. It did not start out, you know, with as many packages as I have, but it's steadily been growing, and so that comes with time. I wouldn't worry about that. You know, repeat business is obviously a motto in any business. If you know, customer retention. So if you can get it to them not broken, not tangled, so they're having to fight with it when they open their package, you know, that will help in the customer retention, and you know, that way they can be happy when they get it. Am I missing anything? Okay. Well, if y'all have any questions, y'all can definitely, you know, send Kyndal a message, and I'll try to, you know, answer it the best of my abilities. But yeah, I'm gonna finish packaging. Everybody have a great day, have a great week, and thank y'all.